Kingdom OutKasts Podcast is a platform for us to simply express our thoughts, opinions, and experiences concerning our faith and events around the world. We're here for your entertainment, encouragement, and edification of the body. We're humans like yourself and are not the final authority of views expressed. Only the Most High Yah is. Feel free to agree, disagree, edify, question, and comment however you're led to in the comments. We are many members of one body under Messiah and look forward to communing as a family with mutual respect. Shalom and enjoy the pod. Kingdom OutKasts.
What's good, everybody? Shalom, shalom. Welcome to another episode of Kingdom OutKasts Podcast. This is the 9th episode?
Yes, episode 9.
Number 9.
All right, cool. Yeah, episode 9. So I am Mashack, a.k.a. Brandon Mashack.
My name is Deja.
Got your boy Eliyahu, Elijah, back here in the flesh. It's so beautiful to see you guys. Yes.
I think we're just going to go with Eliyahu now.
Eliyahu.
When we're on podcast, Eliyahu. Since he's accepted it.
It took time. I think it grew on him.
Yeah, I think it is really growing on me. I like it. It's pretty dope, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like Saul when he got changed to Paul, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he is when he comes into the truth now.
Like super saved. Like you were saved before, but now you're saved on steroids.
Yeah,
super saved. Super brew.
On fire.
All you need is your Mighty Morphin costume our brothers on the street.
I actually don't consider Eliyahu to be a brew. I think he's a Christian in the truth.
What?
That's not offensive. I'm just saying he's not a brew.
Listen.
Like, which is fine.
Are you
Everyone
calling
doesn't
him
have to be a
Christian
brew.
Israelite?
Everyone doesn't have to be a brew. Like,
no, that's
some
cool.
people just.
No, I hear you.
She's in the truth.
There is no offense taken. Listen, seek Jesus Christ, that God, and Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, okay?
I feel that.
But even before Jesus, you got to understand 2 Chronicles 7. When Solomon was dedicating the temple to the Most High, what did he say? He said, if my people who are called by my name will pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their lands and heal their lands. We got to rededicate the temple.
But in order for them to be called by his name, they have to know his name. So that's a key.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You literally can't be called by someone's name if you don't know their name.
That's why you got to choose Jesus.
Hey, in far as super brews, Yeshaya HaMashiach, Yahweh Yahweh Shai, Yahusha, Yehoshua, whatever you go with, you know what I mean? So
The power.
Yeah, he's a spirit, so he knows who you're talking to. Mm-hmm. Your walk is the evidence of that spirit, though.
Hallelujah.
I'm in agreement.
Hallelujah.
Wah.
How was everyone's week?
Yeah, y'all go first.
You go first, man.
Let Elijah go second sometimes.
Okay, you go first then.
My week was productive. I got to go back to my hometown in Detroit. I don't know if I consider it my hometown. I was born there. My family was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had some off days. Went to Detroit, celebrated graduation, got to spend time with my grandmother, with my mother. I really value the time that I can just like sit at their feet and just ask them questions. And my new thing lately has been, how do y'all do it all? Like, they've been doing it all my whole life. But like, as I come into my womanhood, I just question. I'm just like, how do you have time to keep everything organized, keep things clean, cook, more cleaning, just be on top of everything that your husband needs, know things that he doesn't even know that he needs, like barely get enough thank yous, barely get enough appreciation, and still have a smile on your face. I need to know, and I don't even have no husband and kids yet. So that was my thing all week, and I just kept asking them in different ways, and they just tell me, like, we just get used to it. It's just something we do. We just do it. We just wake up and do things. We're just thing doers. So that was like my little piece of like home I needed. I just needed to spend time with my mother and my grandmother together. And I always have fun on my dad's side of the family. They get to like drinking and telling old stories, and my dad gets to act a fool the way he really likes to act a fool.
Yeah.
And it's just like so much fun.
I love to like have an act a fool drinking talking session with your dad.
Yeah, because your dad is mad cool. And
he is,
the speech that he gave during the cookout was phenomenal. But
really, I found it embarrassing.
Well, I mean, you're a child, you know, so I can see that.
I was funny. I was kind of like looking at your brother, like, I know how you feel, man.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, Dad, yeah.
Yeah, he like goes over my dad. He's like, all right, let's wrap it up. let's come on. All right, it's time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was good. And then my younger cousin came back to Atlanta with me to stay for the week, and I try and invite her out like every summer for at least a week. Mm-hmm. So she's my cousin on my dad's side, and then I have my cousin on my mom. She's really not my cousin. She's my aunt. Mm-hmm. She's younger than me. She's on my mom's side, so she'll come and stay a week.
Okay.
So that's my time to just cook and clean and just run after and just try and be the best host I can possibly be and try and throw some little lessons in there, have some girl talk, and just bond with them in an older sisterly way.
That's what's up.
So that's what I've been up to this week.
It's good. It's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Noga's been cool. Same old clients. Super late on finishing that. I had 2 weeks to finish that episode editing, and I decided to do it yesterday. Which, it'll be up. Episode 8 will be up, the day after today, Monday.
So Gucci.
It's no rush.
But it's been a pretty good week. Most High has added a little bit more peace to my life. I was living under a neighbor who sells dogs, and so imagine
my goodness.
the pitter patter, all the constant, and so I got a little bit more quiet, more peace, less lasting music. What else, man?
They shouldn't allow for that in an apartment. They shouldn't allow for that.
Yeah, that's definitely against
I
the
mean, come on, people
They
finesse.
just do,
Come on,
yeah.
we finesse. We finesse. I mean, heck, I don't pay for my dog. Living, you know what I'm saying?
What's that?
It's been a good week. I can't think of nothing special. Just enjoy, congregating with the Brews. Say on Wednesday, and then of course yesterday on Shabbat. I think one thing's interesting. One brother brought up how some of us men, we need to just like go out and do a cabin in the woods somewhere and just study, like seer scribe type stuff. Just go really deep into all that we've been reading, piecing together and sharing information for like maybe 3 days.
That'd be good.
Maybe even add a fast on top of that.
Oh,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
that would be powerful.
So I want to really do that.
Take Eliyahu.
Of course, man. Come on.
I would be there.
What you mean?
Because that reminds me of we used to do retreats back when I was in high school, and of course we weren't fasting. We were focusing on the word and stuff, and we were also high school age. But I think that would be like really impactful. Not only just that time there, but moving forward too, and improving like our fellowship and like our community. Our corporate worship, and how we just fellowship. So I'm all the way down for that.
And we were also talking about like how the books of remembrances that have been translated by Urim and Thummim. So it's translated by this church, the Brotherhood of Christ. I forget what state they're in, but they live super nature like.
Oh yeah.
There's like no technology. But they live by the Torah, the commands, and they live away from the city, and they basically describe how they live life in as close to pleasing the Most High as possible, and they allow for visits, and so I also think it'd be a good trip to go and visit this community because, at first when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, this is almost Amish-like, but except they don't have a standard for how you have to dress. Obviously people are modest, but they wear kind of what they want, and they just live one with nature. I mean, and live how Israel was supposed to live, and this is a congregation of Gentiles, right? Which there are some actual Israelites and Latinos that live amongst them, and so I think that's important. No, they're not a cult.
Everyone has free will to leave.
Yeah, exactly. But they definitely suggest when you come visit, keep your cell phones maybe in your car or something or whatever, like to just fully immerse yourself in the culture.
Pull up my Instagram.
Plus, you wouldn't want to like disrespect the piece that they have as far as like being separate from technology by bringing all these devices and filming them and taking pictures. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But you'd have to keep it all in your repertoire. Like you couldn't be like, I wish I could go back and look at the things I saw there. You just have to remember it.
I feel like some of those are the more powerful experiences that you really hold on to, is the ones that you aren't able to capture.
Yeah.
And look back on, because you're really just in the moment. But
I'm usually about capturing stuff so I remember, but I feel you on that. I feel that perspective as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my week. Just really good conversations. I've kind of been on like a little mini fast this week, so the Most High has brought a lot of very fruitful, productive conversations my way. With some people just now realizing they're Israelite. Some people, there's like two people who didn't really realize it, but we went real deep into those conversations. And so it was great. Very edifying.
That's what's up. My week since our last time filming has been pretty solid. For me, I was on a fast the first week, and now I'll talk about the second part of it, and then that was just really, it was beneficial for me. Like I've been telling myself I had to live like a prayer and fasting lifestyle, and I really had to get back into doing having devotional time, and I was able to do that and kind of not communicate to people unless it was on my terms type stuff, and just really starting to seek the Most High and embodying His word and applying it more to my life, and just kind of meditating on His word throughout the day. Even when I'm in the office, still I got this little journal where I just have scriptures, just looking at that instead of looking at my phone and stuff like that. And just trying to remove a lot of distractions. But overall, life has been beautiful. I had a mentor come in last weekend, and we were able to talk a lot about business, and just get a better understanding of the business that I am building with the financial coaching, and how I'm really building a financial firm, and how I can just go about it better, and just being around other like-minded individuals who also want to see me succeed, but be like, yo, Elijah, you could do this better, or you just gotta put yourself out there more. And that's something I really gotta do, because moving here to Atlanta is it's a whole new market for me, so I gotta when I go to a grocery store, when I go to the gym, whenever I'm meeting people, just be open to talking to them and seeing where the conversation can lead, and then throwing my digital business card out there, just my contact information. So that's kind of where my mind was.
Everybody's life doesn't end up great like his. Moving to Atlanta, stop filling up our streets. It won't fix your problems.
Oh yeah, apparently it will.
Too much traffic, and I have.
No, don't say that after you got to be here.
No, I just said, I made the traffic worse, by my 2 cars in my household, but
we're closing the borders.
Yeah, no more Negroes. No more Negroes. But yeah, Atlanta's really been a blessing, and honestly, y'all have been a blessing, and just the community, I love it. I really it just solidified me being here long term. But yeah, so I usually don't go out, and I went out, and yeah, I went out to this location.
Did you wear your fringes, Ock? Did you wear your fringes, Ock? No, I'm joking.
I was not wearing my fringes, and I had mixed materials.
Oh my gosh, breaking all types of torch. Let me stop.
Yeah. So your boy was out there, playing the court, shooting some shots, and
I said you're not a brew, so you're not held to.
Oh man, he's a brew.
I'm not wearing no.
He's a bloodline brew. Don't call him that.
Yes, but I'm saying as far as for religious purposes.
This is not religion. That's the whole thing.
I'll pray on it. If the Most High convicts me, then maybe I'll start.
Convert.
Nah, semantics isn't. Semantics don't make you.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not on top of mine. I got other things I got to worry about. But okay. Yeah. So I was like, there's this young lady. She caught my attention. Just beautiful. And, I hit her with the, hey, big head, and, she started chopping it up with her as she was walking. And then,
hey, big head.
Some woman came from behind her, some I'm about to be real this is my flesh talking here. Some scrawny, just unattractive woman came up behind her and just grabbed her titties, and she's like, she's mine. I was like, it just got me upset, especially in this month of debauchery. And I was like, you know what? We ain't ready for something real. You come my way, okay? Until you done playing around with this fake stuff. Trying to keep it PG-13, and holy, kinda. But that was like that grinding my gears.
That be the whole heart-wrenching thing when a gorgeous woman is like not even for the bro.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh.
But you told me about this a little bit earlier, and the thing that stuck out to me was that you were trying to approach her in a gentlemanly way. Like you were like, hello, just nice, and then like because the woman was a lesbian, she could just go grope her in public.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No one should grope people.
I think
in
they had
public.
a relationship. You know what I mean? I assume because they walked off together.
Right, but imagine if you were out with a respectable woman that you're dating and you just grab her all type of ways in front of other people in public. It's it is that spirit of pride. But outside of that, like it was fun going out. I got to hang out with my business partners and just kick it. I had a great time, and I don't see myself going out any more times, especially not in this month. Not after that.
Not after that. Yeah, like my week was good. I just digging more into wanting to be an entrepreneur and like just improve my current skill set and like starting to think of future skills that I want to have, because the time is like right now, like as we're gonna talk about here in the current events and stuff, like certain things are starting to happen, and I think that those with discernment are starting to realize like the timeline's speeding up, but like you still have time to put things in place to be able to provide value. Outside of, maybe typically where you do provide value. So that was cool. Me and some of the brothers from church, we put up a fence yesterday. So that was fun.
Oh, yeah.
We was out there in the heat and I forgot to wear my hat. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I wanted to be out there, but I had a busy day.
Yeah, man.
What time do y'all finish?
Y'all was doing work on the Shabbat?
It wasn't work. Well, I guess
y'all was doing
they
work.
weren't making money.
We didn't get paid.
Okay.
But
for you super brews out there.
we didn't even finish by the time I left. I left like 6:30. Got there at like 11. Okay. So solid 7 hours of work. It was cool. It was good. It was good bonding. And I was like, well, these are the type of skills that we're gonna need. Eventually. Fence building, fort building. But that's how my week was, and I'm blessed to be here, and I'm excited for my next week. Because if I make it, but there's just so much opportunity here in life. Yes, you gotta take advantage of.
Not in Atlanta, in life.
There's so much opportunity here, physically here.
Gosh, that's funny.
Okay, are we ready to get into our precept for the week?
Yes, man, we sure are. And I think this precept ties perfectly into what our topic of the week is. So I'm going to be coming from the Book of Remembrance, the second book of Achi, chapter 2, verse 31, starting. And just to give some perspective, this is basically the Most High giving Achi, the brother of Jared, who is a descendant of Japheth, a vision of how the Most High creates the soul of a being or the soul of a person. And it came to pass. So basically, in this part, the Most High has taken him up into a vision, and he's in a void of darkness, right? But then he starts to see this glimmer of light, and this glimmer of light is where the Most High is dwelling. And so at this point, and it came to pass that he began to hear voices, and as he listened, he began to know that it was the voice of Messiah, speaking unto the great Holy One. And Messiah said, O Holy Father, may I be granted permission to speak before you. And Achaiah said, Say on, my beloved son. And Messiah said, Will you, O Father, create this one whose face is now before you? And Achi could feel in the voice of Messiah the tender feeling of love he had for his father, Lud. And so basically, the one that is being created, he's showing him how his father was created, the soul, right? Using his father as an example. Yeah. So his father's name is Lud. The tender feeling of love Ahiah had for his father Lud. And Messiah was pleading before the face of Ahiah. Just so y'all know, Ahiah is I am in Hebrew, and I usually say that in place of God. All right? Before the place of Ahiah. And the love of Messiah had for Lud was astonishing unto Achi. And he exclaimed to himself, my father does not know that Messiah loves him, and pled for him before Ahiah in that day of creation. And Achi said, forgive me, Lord, for I do not know of your great love for my father. And the soul of Achi yearned to see and hear of that which transpired before him. And when he listened, he heard Messiah say to his father, as he pointed to the face of Lud, Father, this one can choose from the days of his childhood to love you, and he can be a companion to all the handiwork of your creation. And surely he will be gentle and kind, for he is the name Lud, which means to be overflowing with the sweetness of living water. For he can be one who is able to bring happiness and pleasant living to all those around him. I just know that you will delight in all he can accomplish for you in the lives of men. See how sweetly he laughs, and how joyously he plays as a child. See the innocent and charitable manner he can have as a man, and father and husband. All the hosts of Kayal, an angel, and the lustral waters of Panal, an angel, these are angels over the nature, can rejoice him, and see how determined he can be to accomplish your will. Please, O Father, create him, for he can be a brother to all the living, and he can be a great delight to his mother, and he surely will be a comfort to many. And by his hand there can be many who come to know you and who will delight to walk with you. Now, to give you a picture, imagine a throne that's so bright and Most High sitting on it, and the Messiah is in front of the throne pleading with them. And so he's seeing also the face of this soul, like the dormant face, like protruding forth from the light of the Most High, and they're having a conversation about this face or the soul, right? Wow. And it came to pass that the great Holy One could abide to hear no more, for his heart was overflowing with love for Lud, insomuch that it could not be constrained. And he clapped his hands for joy, and he said, it is enough, I will create him, and such a wonder will he be to me, and such warmth enters my heart to think of him. Let us not delay, for my heart and soul yearns to have and behold him, and my great anticipation of our love for one another cannot be continued. And Achi looked, and the vision of the face of Lud became the spirit of a man standing in purity before the presence of Ahiah. And the man stood forth in the light of Ahiah before Achi. And it came to pass that the heart of Achi was greatly moved upon, and he wept bitterly. And he wept because, well, in the present time, Achi's father is wicked. But it's the ignorance of his father not knowing his creative purpose and how much the Most High loves him. Wow. So this is the last part, and I'm skipping to verse 44. And Messiah said, in the beginning, all the souls of mankind were created to be equal in the day of the creation. And my diligence to seek out to discover a wondrous gift to give to my Father in them was not diminished in even one human soul. But my love for each one and the great yearnings of my desires to give my Father a precious gift that would bring comfort to his soul was magnified to be of the same greatness. For each and every human soul of any age upon earth, or in any land, or country, or with any language of people, or any family of earth. And I gave not one flawed gift to my Father in the day of creation. Not one. And the dude has a footnote here. As these words were coming, I was moved to tears because I saw God created black people and white people and every kind of person. And God was simply overjoyed with each one. And he was so excited about each one, he could hardly stand it. And each person was moved, each person was the most exciting thing that ever happened to God. I have always thought of myself as one who loved all people, but when this scene came before my eyes with them, I realized in a deeper way the value of every soul. All right, last verse. And while all their souls were pure and good, the holy and holy before Ahiah in the day of they were created, agency has great power to either bless the God of heaven or cause him great sorrow. And it is the respect my Father has for any who would be different than himself that gives man his ability to choose and the power to abandon their vision of his created purpose or to magnify in the light of his love. And that's pretty much the reading there. So, when I read the entire thing, I was holding back a little bit, you know what I mean? Because I was imagining my face, and what conversation could have they had, you know, with me. But yeah, what do y'all think of that?
I was gonna say the same thing. I couldn't help but to think about myself and my relationship, continuing relationship with the Most High, and how He's known me before I was even in existence, and that He made me very specifically for a reason. And then I think about why the Most High is so hard on sin and He just can't deal with it whatsoever, is because this level of righteousness and holiness and actually living out the gifts and abilities that He's given us comes through way of being near Him. And so like He had this idea for each person, this amazing version of them where they were living out their abundant life and they were using their gifts and abilities, and they had joy, peace, love, happiness, and all the fruits. And we sometimes throw those things away and just give them away willingly. That's His intention for each and every single one of us, and that is amazing because of how many have ever walked the earth or have manifested in the physical realm, and He cares about each and every single one.
I forgot, and it goes on to say, it's not in front of me, but it goes on to say how the joy and love the Most High and Messiah have in each soul is so great that as if it's the only creation they've ever created at that moment. You know what I mean? So when He created, you know, you, Deja, you, Elijah, it was as if you were the only thing He's ever created.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just so. It was good to, like, you know, from the word, like, we know that Jesus is interceding on our behalf, and, like, you know, the Holy Spirit is too when we're praying, and it brought it kind of like in a different perspective for me to think about even before I got here, how the Messiah was pleading on our behalf on how much we can do for the Most High, and you know. And God's like, whoa, okay, I got enough. All right, I'm already overflowing with love. Let's go ahead and create them, because this is the one. Yeah. But you know, our God is a God of free choice. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like they have all this potential, and then they have free choice. So are they going to choose to serve me and to praise me and to do it my way, or are they going to choose and do it their own way? And I think that reminds me of, in the word it says, I don't know where it's at. Maybe in James, God yearns jealously over the soul that He made, and that just makes all the more sense, because you got the Messiah who literally died for our sins and gave us salvation, and you got the Most High. He's like, I created you for a purpose that's like not even near what you're doing, because you just want to focus on these temporary pleasures and sins, you know. And I have so much more for you, and it's not money. It's the fruits of the Spirit, you know what I mean? It's peace, it's self-control, and just love and joy. And you don't even know how much I love you and how much like I want for you to experience my love. And it just warms my heart to know that is like my Creator like loves me that much, even before I was even created. Like, you know, in the word it says, I knew you even before you were in your mother's womb. And it's just like, it's inspirational, you know what I mean? Because every one of us at the end of our lives are going to have to face the Most High, and we're going to have to give an account for all of our decisions. And I also think that we're going to get an idea of what we could have been if we didn't live up to that potential.
It goes on to actually show how the judgment will be, and how they literally will show the person the day that they were created, the vision. Wow. But it also shows how the wicked, even in that moment of being shown everything through the eyes of the Most High, will still reject.
Yeah.
Like their very being will still reject. Well, I want to do this and have it right, and so yeah.
Listen, don't get so in love with this flesh suit that we're in, and like it's really like these powers of darkness. They want for us to feed this flesh so that gives them the ability to manifest themselves throughout our lives. You know what I mean? Like whether it's, you know, like what's a good example? Alcoholism. You know, you drink a lot. That's not. It's like you have to drink something, and then the spirit inhabits you. I may be using the wrong words, but like that spirit of alcohol, and then what comes with that, whether it's anger, whether it's lust, whether it is greed, whatever it is from the alcohol, that's your flesh speaking. Like your flesh is like, ooh, I want to drink, ooh, I want to drink, or ooh, I want to smoke, or you know, ooh, I want to go fornicate or whatever. That's a power of darkness, because that's not what the Most High created us for, and He knows like we should not give into those things because it's so fleshly. You know, it's not producing the fruits of the Spirit. So I don't know if that if that connects any synapses for the viewers or for you guys, but it's just one thing I have to continuously tell myself, like, that's your flesh speaking, Elijah. You don't need to give into it.
Yeah, man. Too true. Yeah, and at the end of the day, you know, every knee will still bow and tongue will confess. Even if at judgment you still reject, okay, when that judgment is passed, you go, no, take it all back, you know?
Yeah.
I'll make it short since I did so much reading. But yeah, man, like I said, when I first read that, it was like one of the most like moving things I'd ever read and inspired word by the Most High.
Yeah.
You know, I was just really kind of picturing, and the thing I kept saying, like in meditation, Most High, please show me my day. Please show me my day. Please show me that day. Am I truly fulfilling everything that you and the Messiah conversed about in that day? Am I truly, if what I'm doing and how I'm walking and how I'm communicating with people, really the characteristics and the ways that you had discussed, you know, in the day of my creation, you know what I mean? How much of my being today is what you wanted me to be. And I mean, you know, we say things, you know, about aligning with his will and stuff like that. But when you actually read and then you get a real visual of that moment, that will for your life was made manifest, it kind of just makes it all the way more like a big chest punch, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I think what adds to how powerful this writing is, you know, this is a Gentile the Most High has used to I mean, actually the Most High, He's used Israel to write, but He's used Gentiles to canonize over the time. Even Ethiopians with the Ethiopian Orthodox, He's used them to canonize. You know what I mean? And so all He's doing is translating what Israelites or Hebrews of old have already written, you know, and inscribed. And, you know, and you can tell how authentic He is because He admits, and the Most High showed me through the Urim and Thummim that Adam and Eve was very dark with braids. You know, Moses was skinny and brown. You know, and so he's not. There's no whitewashing going on either, right? And so you just see just how much through this book, how much the Most High can use non-Israelites through the translator. Through Achi, who is a descendant of Japheth, and how even Achi declared blessings on Israel before he came. So, I mean, it's just one of those things like, man, I really wish so many of our camp brothers, like, golly, boy, I wish y'all could, like, understand this. And even people stuck in religion understand, like, look, man, you are of Israel now. No, you're not just a church. You're an Israelite. Stop rejecting the natural branch, you know? And let's just all come into unity and realize that we are of the new Jerusalem. You know, the new Yerushalayim, however you want to say, right? So yeah, man, beautiful stuff.
Beautiful stuff. This precept, it ties into our topic of the week, which we'll get to later on in the episode, and we want to get into the Hebrew word.
Yeah.
But before I forget, just make sure that you like, dislike, share, comment, subscribe.
Argue with us, please. We got a great comment on Instagram the other day. I don't know if you took it out of context, but that was good. We like discussion, but make sure y'all stay tuned for our topic of the week, and just throughout this video. As we're talking about souls and free will. Yes.
So let's get into the Hebrew word.
All right, cool, man. So the Hebrew word for today is soul, all right? And the word for soul is nefesh, okay? So nefesh. Nephesh. Strong's 5315. And the definition: a soul, living being, life, self, person, desire, passion, appetite, emotion. That appetite is important because when it says in the word worship Yah with all your heart, soul, mind, and spirit, I believe when it says soul there, I believe it's also talking not just about life, but appetite, your throat, what you consume, your temple, You know what I mean? Like, people think, the word doesn't care about your health, your body, it's just the spirit. No, there's equilibrium. Now NASB translation. Okay, so this is NASB translation. Anyone, appetite, beings, breath, body, corpse, creatures, dead person, defenseless, desire, discontented, endure, greedy, heart, fierce, human being, lifeblood, life, hunger, mind, number, myself, man, passion, people, person, slave, souls. It's basically like all that what a soul can be, kind of, you know what I mean? So those are the different translations, all the translations that soul could actually be.
Interesting.
Makes you think, how many translation errors may they have had with using this, but
yes, they must have. There must be some in there.
Like, look at all that.
Dadgummit. In our basic English, it just gives us soul.
But yeah, man. So that's the precept.
Okay. So this week, some of the current events that I have been reading about, have been related to these wildfires happening in Canada. So the first thing I saw was a few people that I know who were just actually in New York were posting like outside, and everything looked orange. And at first I don't know, I didn't think it was like that in real life. I thought it was like a filter or something. So I am wondering, what is the cause? Like, why did Canada catch on fire? I just have to know, because that was like an unreal amount of like smog and smoke to turn many major cities orange.
Yeah.
Why was Canada on fire?
I think only the powers that be know, honestly, and why it was started. But
so you think the fires were started?
Yes, I do. I do think that they were started. For what reason? Maybe just an attack on nature. Probably not with the intent of hurting nature, but in the intent of disrupting society. Because I've been seeing like other weird things going on in New York, and the month that we're in, but also like just like New York has this huge sign that's like, I think it says either "Welcome to Hell" or like "Welcome to Diablo."
I just pulled it up.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
you did.
Yeah, look at the Ruach.
Okay, so I have not seen that. That's
it's
crazy.
Lilith.
Oh yeah, it's like in New York, and it's just like
during the Canada wildfires.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm like, this is judgment. You know what I mean? Especially during the month that.
But if it being judgment, then it'd be like the fires happen naturally and they don't know why.
Well, I don't
as
think
opposed to it being said.
I don't think it's judgment. Well, so Pete, when I look at the book of Revelations or end time prophecy, but I personally believe not. I don't think it's saying all of this judgment is going to be the Most High doing it. Okay. I believe a lot of it is the Most High is going to allow Satan to have his way with y'all.
Interesting.
And then after he lets evil and all that come to its fullness, then the Most High is going to start doing. So a lot of what we see, I believe, is really Hashatan.
Now, why do you think that they would set all of these forests ablaze in Canada, knowing that we need trees? Like, we need these trees. Why would they set all this stuff on fire?
Shoot, you go first.
And then trees are just like so gorgeous and amazing. And I just cannot fathom the level of evil for someone to set huge forests on fire.
If I worship Satan, I hate creation.
Yeah, that's true.
I do not know.
I think it's just to cause more more hysteria, more confusion. New York's basically the capital of the United States, kind of like in the financial world, and it's like it's interesting because I heard like in places that were closer to Canada and where the wildfires were, they weren't
no smoke.
like no smoke. But it's interesting that New York had no visibility, in Philadelphia, in DC, and that was one thing. Like they had
very controlled.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, it was like almost controlled. I've heard some theories that maybe like it was a biological attack. You don't know what was in that air.
Like maybe there wasn't even an actual fire.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a lot of very videos where people seem very educated, but on how forest fires start on purpose. And it's really that simple. I mean, it's as simple as them spraying chemtrails in the skies, messing with the environment, messing with our health.
Oh yeah.
Starting forest fires on purpose, like, guys. Look, even question earthquakes. Like, we got Nikola Tesla created the earthquake machine. Yeah. Are we using that technology today? Right? Like, there's literally a religion, a cultic religion of speeding up, sinning as much as possible to speed up the end times.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I work with the dealers up in New York, and no one is buying cars, so it's like, great. Chill. It's like, yes, can they keep going?
And so that can be great. That must have been detrimental to their economy some kind of way.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh, I have another thing. I read about a story. It's not necessarily on our list, but I read about a story where there was a plane crash and 3 children survived the crash and then survived for 40 days in the rainforest.
Oh, wow.
And so when they went back to, they found the children because they were looking for them. And when they found them alive, they were all under 13. It was like a 13, a 10, and a 9-month-old. And the 13-year-old was able to keep his siblings alive. So when they went back to to the parents and asked, like, how do you think this was made possible? They were like, well, we are the natives of this land, and our kids know the rainforest. Like, they've been raised on what you can eat, what you can't eat.
Do you know what tribe or peoples they are?
I think they were in Brazil.
Look.
That was the most amazing. So I just think that really speaks to the importance of people being connected to their true native land.
Asherites.
Like, they never left. They've never left. Their parents and grandparents and great-parents have always lived there. So a 13-year-old kept a 9-month-old baby alive for 40 days in the rainforest. That's amazing. And it rains 80% of the day there.
The word shows that the righteous people, like righteous, you live in righteousness, nature will obey you. You know what I mean? We see that with Moses. We see that with a couple of different Joseph. We see that with a couple of different characters. The Messiah. We see that with a couple of different characters, and I see it a whole lot in the book of Chi as well, which actually recounts a lot of the 66. And so I think there was probably Asherite tribe because I actually have researched some tribes out there in the Amazons, but it could be another. But amazing. They could still be living off of traditions that come from Israel. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like the natives in the north were. They were still a lot of the Cherokee. Their festival days line up perfectly with the festivals, the feast days. Okay, and so I think it's just really that simple. they are still connected to the Most High, even with the language barriers. A lot of people think they worship something different, possibly, right? But they really could still worship the same God as us. Just looks different because they're closer to nature, closer to how we should be.
And most children, I would say that children are a lot disconnected from their elders now these days. So to actually know and have learned from your grandparents to the extent to where you could literally apply this information immediately. There's kids walking around here with their head is in their iPad. They could even live with their grandparents and don't know any Spanish, for example, and they're Hispanic. Just something like that where it's like you're not even, there's no connecting the dots. And so the experts were saying things like, well, they lucked up because it was fruiting season, so there was all this fruit. But they literally weren't even attacked. Are
you thinking about
panthers,
animals?
Yeah. And then they were able to create a shelter to stay dry.
Like the rainforest,
I don't know. I guess the animals somehow, they said something about they knew of divergent or divertive tactics to avoid wild animals hunting them and stuff. They knew all this stuff, and they were little kids.
I mean, and probably so, but animals still got stronger senses. I mean, so at the end of the day, whatever excuse you can come up, the Most High was in that situation.
Yeah,
Look, there's this funny video that's been going around, and I've shared it and laughed at it hard on Facebook. But it's this little baby, a little white baby in his backyard, right? Maybe toddler, and the father's recording this deer has walked right up to his toddler, and he's like, "Wow, look at this," And
the deer head.
Next thing you know, and the baby sticks his hand out, and the deer jumps and steps on it, and then the video goes completely blank. Right now, obviously the baby is alive because that father still chose to upload that video.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's probably laughing at it at this point. I mean, it's up on the internet. He had to upload it. So the baby's okay. I'm going to laugh. And it was like, I mean, and I think I think the pineal gland has something to do with it as well. Statistically, African-ish, people have, uncalcified pineal glands, where Asian peoples are a little more calcified. Europeans have higher calcification. The pineal gland, or a pinnule, as the book of Genesis talks about in the story of Jacob's ladder. I've seen Elohim face to face. That pineal gland is the physical component in our bodies that connects to the spiritual realm. And there are spirit angels in the Most High in all of nature. So some of us are culturally built to be better with nature. We may have learned differently as well, right? But I mean, hey, like, I look at all those factors when I look at these situations. But big ups to the Most High for protecting those kids and the parents, and just that culture for how they living, and they just built like that.
And they have to fight continuously to stop them from burning the Amazon rainforest, to stop them from moving them off their land. They have all these reasons why they need to cut all these trees down and displace them. And stories like this just really champions like those people.
And people want to cry when missionaries go over there and get shot by arrows. No, man. No, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's evidence that shows how the missionaries were commissioned to not teach them about the word, but to twist things and persuade them to submit. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, nah, they don't want to hear from y'all. They good. They the Most Highest people already. Hopefully. It's a strong assumption, but because of the area, and I've studied the tribes, like, I believe they're Israelite descendant.
I believe that too. Well, for the topic of this week, I'm going to pose a question. And I would like to know your thoughts on it. Is our destiny sealed, or do we have free will? So do we have a destiny that's predetermined and it's going to happen no matter what? Where does free will play into that?
And I think this is a good question because, I hear this topic a lot personally because, especially in the Hebrew community, you got a lot of Israelites, mostly camp Israelites, who say there's no free will. That everybody's destiny is sealed. The Most High knows this, that, woo-de-woo. and everything's written, and they think a lot of Israelites really think there's no free will at the end of the day. They start like, do you really think there's free will? You really think there's free will? So I'm gonna go last on this.
It's a very, very theological, deep conversation. I think that there's many answers to this question, but I believe that I want to say our destiny is sealed. I think that the Most High knows what our destiny is, but He still gives us free will, but He already knows.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a sense, I guess to Him our destiny is sealed. To us, we still got free will. Yeah, because I don't know. It's just like as I think about it, like as I get closer to like living according to the Most High's will, then I would feel like my destiny is sealed, and my free will is gone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, what's there to debate? You know what I mean? God's word is God's word. Like living according to the Torah, living out the commandments Jesus gave us, and living according to those promises. So in a sense, like my destiny is sealed, but I still do have free will. But at some point, like my free will goes out the way because I have chosen to like live according to God's will. And that's, I mean, I feel like sometimes even saying God's will is it's kind of like, I don't want to say subjective, but like it's like, how do you know really what God's will is? Well, I think first you go to His word, and then you understand his corporate design for us to live, and and also individually. But then we all have our unique souls that that He created with a specific purpose that we have to come to understanding on and understand what His will is for us individually, on top of already just living out His word and according to His commands. So it's like, I think that's where you can exercise some free will, but in the end, I think when you're like living according to how the Most High designed for us to live, and for your life to go, in a sense, your destiny is sealed. But I don't know if it makes sense either. But it's just it's a deep conversation. But for me, I think it's like there's a slim margin of free will in there as I'm living out God's word and living according to that. And the only way I can like really for surely seal my destiny is through prayer and fasting and just drawing closer to Him and understanding more of like the specific walk that He has for me. That's my rant on this topic. I might add on more, but
it's a deep dive, yeah.
I think I lean more toward free will than a sealed destiny, but I'm really double-minded about the topic because I know that the word says that He's chosen us before the beginning of time, which means that he knew who would be in salvation. But the reason I think that is I kind of think of it as almost like parallel universes type of thing. Like I do think that there was a life path that was set out for my destruction, and if I continued in my flesh and it continued in my way of being that was outside of salvation, that path did exist for me, and I very well could have fallen into that, and just it would have changed the trajectory of a lot of things in my life. And then I do think that there was that moment where it's like, okay, well, we need to like make a decision to really change and dedicate our lives to the things of the Most High, like now, like, you know, me talking to me type of thing. So I do think that path did exist for me, and I've chosen salvation, and so there's lots of things that are going to come as a result of that. So even how you said, well, you decided to move to Atlanta, and then you came to church and you met us and you started your business, and these kind of things all happened that way because you chose to move to Atlanta. I think because I chose salvation, then y'all began to put the right people in my life, and I make the right connections, and I have different hobbies and free time, things I don't want to do in my free time than I would have been if I wasn't in salvation. You know, protected me and kept me, and my health and my old age is going to be a result of how I eat and how I live now, as opposed to if I were to, you know, go down a path of substance abuse. How would that look? And so, or if I were going to go and live out some kind of generational curses instead of breaking them.
Yeah.
I totally think that path did exist for me.
Yeah.
I definitely, I kind of, what we were talking about earlier, it probably is like a parallel universe in regards to our lives, you know? You could take the path of the Most High's path, or you could take Satan's path.
Yes,
You know,
and
the
you would
path of
not even
destruction.
recognize your other self.
Yeah.
Look,
Like, you would not even recognize. You'd be like, who is... Or delete that image. I never want to see that again.
Yeah.
death or jail time is the only thing that's for me outside of the Most High. I know that for a fact. I tell my dad often, just yesterday, like, yo, if you weren't in my life, I know I'd be dead or in jail. Cause we've even fought. You know what I mean? Like, I was a very rebellious, angry kid. Fights, getting kicked out of school, detention, suspensions, ISS, just everything, man. And I got into some trouble even just last year, man, with this gang member dude. You know, I won't go too deep in it, but I was toting a good amount because I'm like, you know, I might have got myself into some trouble, but. You know, so my life just happens in the streams like that. And I definitely believe in free will, especially based off of what the precept we read. It's a thing of like, a lot of people, their argument is there's no free will because the Most High knows what's going to happen. But just because he knows what's going to happen doesn't mean he's intervening in your life to make you obey him. Like, you know, everybody, now you talk about chosen, right? Well, there's many people he would have chosen because we all have that conscious or that thing in the back of our head, but people choose to ignore that. You know what I mean? So it's like that double thing you say. If, yes, he chose us, right, before we were born, but at the end of the day, he would have chosen more people, but they made the choice to not choose him. You know what I mean? So it's really a mind screw of a conversation to kind of think about, to be honest. But I mean, yeah, like you know, I put up a couple verses here around free will. Proverbs 16:9, the heart of man plans his way, but the Elohim establishes his steps. John 7:17, if anyone's will is to do Achaya's will, he will know whether to teach from Achaya or whether I am speaking on my own authority. If anyone's will is to do Achaya's will. If, that means we have the choice to choose if we want, you know. John 1:12-13. But to all who did receive him, who believe in his name, he gave the right to become children of Achaya, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor the will of man, but of Achaya. Joshua 24:15, and if it is evil in your eyes to serve the Elohim, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of your fathers served in the region beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you will dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Elohim, or the Lord. The last one I'm going to read, 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation is overtaking you that is not common to man. Achaya is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape that you may be able to endure it. Last one, Revelation 33:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and will eat with him, and he will be with me. I mean, those verses off bat show me, yes, free will is a thing. You know, it is our choice. He just knows. He knows. And that's why it's so powerful that we just saw and read how much we don't realize how much the Messiah actually intercedes in our behalf. How many conversations he has on Most High. How he's actually even still going to intercede with us after judgment. There's going to be laws and things that are established so we don't get tired of eternity. You know, that I've read. You know, that conversation of eternity scary no matter if we're going to be in, you know what I mean? That's another I don't want to go. We need to jot that down.
Eternity.
But he's gonna intercede even on that subject. And it's like, wow, these are questions that I've always thought of, you know. And so, you know, it's when the Most High decide to wrap in flesh. The only difference between the Father and the Son is that the Son constantly is interceding because he has a nature of flesh in him. Not the nature of flesh, but he has flesh. That's the only difference. Constant interceding. The Son is the Father, but the Son is constantly interceding.
But so for those who think their doctrine is telling them that we have no free will, then are they just saying they're just doing their marching orders? Like, what is the point? How do you choose? They're saying that they were literally born to be who they are, and they're doing their job constantly because it is their role.
You know, the word talks about how the Most High has created evil or the wicked for the day of the wicked or evil. You know, there's verse of Revelation that talk about how he's created for this, that. But I think what's to discern out of that is at the end of the day, he wanted to create us also with knowing the risk of the corruption that was going to come about. And so because of, again, he created everybody with their purpose, but he knows who's going to be evil, they're going to be still used for his will. See, that's where there's kind of no free. That's the only, if you want to talk about there's no free will, the only part where there is no free will is even your evilness is going to fulfill his purpose for the ones who chose to do good. That's the part where you just have no control over at the end of the day. Okay, you don't choose the Most High, you're going to be used
to fulfill the Most High's will
for the people who chose him. Hashatan, he's still being used in a way by the Most High to fulfill. All right, I'm gonna let you do what you want. He used him in the book of Job. You know what I mean? He let the Hashatan thought he was challenging, you know, Job and the Most High, but he's like, nah, go, and I'm gonna bless him some more. You know what I mean? Like, so he's using him to. The Messiah is doing a separation of the wheat and tares, but Hashatan is also kind of being used a little bit for that. So it's like, at the end of the day, if you want to talk about there's no free will, at the end of the day, you can't challenge God's perfect will, but you can choose whether you want to be in, you know, his will for your life. But you're going to fulfill his will either way. But for your life, for what your life is supposed to be, that's your choice.
And the other reason I feel as though it's all still almost a game that we're in is that the enemy will start to attack you when you're starting to break chains in your life. And if it was all just set out and it was just all going to happen and there's nothing that could change the inevitable, he wouldn't be trying to like knock you off, like knock you down as soon as you get a little more strength. Like as soon as you finally find that thing in your heart. We talked about the fallow ground at Boom on Shabbat. Like when you finally start to break some of those things, all of a sudden here it comes.
Thank you,
Sister
fasting. Zakiya, for your message.
Yes, it was very relevant.
And Elder Eric.
It was very relevant for that reason. Like even if you go into a really deep fast and it's like the last day of your fast or 2 days before your fast, something just comes at you that's seemingly meant to attack you. And I don't think that
this weekend has been a challenge.
I don't think it would be this continual pushing and pulling and warfare on your life if it wasn't to try and get you to that other path, that other place where that will not be like welcome into the kingdom.
Yeah.
I do think there's some version of you out there that path is always existing and always there, and we just fight every single day for our salvation. It's not a one time say this one prayer. No, we are constantly fighting for our salvation, and repenting is a really big part of that, and then spiritual warfare too.
Yeah, you just reminded me of James 1:12. Blessed is the man who is steadfast under trial and perseveres when tempted. For when he has passed the test and been approved, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to those who love him. As you're talking about, you know, the battles, the fighting that has to go on with the temptations of life, you know, why do we feel, you know, we feel bad, you know, when we give into the temptations, and it's even harder when we don't give into the temptations, you know what I mean? Because our flesh is just so fleshy. But it's part of, I guess, you know,
strong.
You know,
when I was a kid, we would watch The Passion of the Christ at church on Easter, and like I would become emotional like watching that movie. You know, it's very I don't know,
graphic.
It's very graphic.
Yeah.
So as a child, I would think that every time I sin, I was adding a lash to the Messiah.
That's actually what we're kind of doing.
And so I would just be like, oh my goodness, like remember the movie. Like it would make me not want to sin, because I'm like, but then if I sin, then that's gonna be one more lash that like he already got, and like I'm adding more lashes to him by sinning, and I need to stop. That was almost, so I even had a concept of that as a child.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to when I kind of read that thing about you know, when Adam was about to sacrifice a lamb, and the angel Shemael asked, "Why are you killing me?" And he explained to him, you know, if we were still doing animal sacrifice, if you had to put your dog on the altar and slit its throat and sprinkle the blood on the altar for your sin, like, I mean,
cannot fathom
it. Upright.
Yeah, you be as super upright as possible. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
or you would just go into debt. Your kids would go hungry. You would be killing off all your livestock.
But it's crazy because at the same time, we shouldn't have to have, that shouldn't have to be a law for us to, you know what I'm saying? We should really love the Messiah and feel the Messiah so much that we don't need the law of animal sacrifice to remember that. You know what I mean?
So this is a little off topic, but are these camps sacrificing?
Huh?
Some of them?
No.
No.
They're not. To my knowledge, there are no Israelites that are still practicing animal sacrifice. Even tribes, like Israelite tribes that have become tribes that we know today, I've read where either through missionaries who were trying to mess them up, or the Most High showing up to these tribes after his resurrection. You know, at some point, every believer learned that animal sacrifice is done away with. Anybody who's doing animal sacrifice right now, you can't still be.
Yeah, I heard there's some Muslims that are.
They're not in the covenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Interesting.
I want to share an alternative thought with y'all. So I saw a video about 8Now News where someone called the police because a 8 to 10 foot being had landed in their backyard, and they were like,
they showed like the UFO and everything on the news. Is it the same thing?
What I saw was the news was reporting on it, and they just had the audio of the police call, and they're asking questions like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Its eyes are glowing. It's huge. It's definitely not human, and it's in our backyard, and we don't know where it came from." So then the police got there. By then it had left, and one of the police vouched for the fact that he also had saw the being. So he's like, well, I wasn't taking this serious. My partner said he saw it too. So like, I don't know what this is. What could this possibly be? And so I
And they got away.
And people, these are demons.
Zoom in on it.
Zoom in on that.
I just like what
Zoom
this
in
is
on-
an alternative thought. Are
That's the
UFOs
meme.
starting to land down on people's yard? Like the fact that they actually reported on it is what made me be like, okay, this might be a real thing because they don't be putting stuff on the news unless
It's starting to condition us.
something really landed in these people's yards. So what was it?
It was a being.
A being.
Extraterrestrial being. I think that they're demons, but aliens.
A demon that has manifested into a physical monster? Because demons are spirits.
Yeah, they can inhabit something fleshy, I guess.
Shape-shifting.
Shape-shifting, it's really crazy. I hope if I see one, I'm just gonna start pleading the blood of Jesus.
The concept is like,
you.
if these things have always existed, what made it? Like, what happened that it accidentally landed in someone's yard erroneously? Where was it going? Where was it coming from? Why hasn't this happened before? I don't know. I just have so many questions about this.
I'll be honest, I still think it could be fake. Only because I believe the real thing will still happen. But I do believe these are still conditioning methods to get us used to this, to get us desensitized. Mm-hmm. So when it actually happens, we accept it. And you know what I mean?
I think that something really was in that man's backyard.
I mean, it could be. I could be wrong. I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm saying if it was real, then hey, I wholeheartedly believe this summer we're in kind of another wave of awakening. Mm-hmm. Like there's another wave of awakening kind of happening. The Ruach is moving, this summer. It's actually coming up on the Messiah's actual real birthday, which is most likely, like according to research, like August, September, or somewhere around here. Mm-hmm. And so it's a thing where it's like, okay, maybe it was real, but also, I mean, the thing is, I believe most of what we see on the news is fake, to be honest, or manipulation of. Like, I believe it's real in the point of these things actually are a real situation. But I also think it could be fake and set up just because.
But it's like, where do they live? Like, if they are real, are they like coming in and out of spirituality? Or do they all just live somewhere underground sneakily and they only come out when they need?
The under the water is in caves, underground. And they're not coming through the firmament. They're not coming out of the sky. Yeah. They're coming out of the water or out of caves. You know what I mean?
Volcanoes.
This is where these things dwell, like, and
it's so tricky.
Or bases, but yeah, I do believe this could still be a method of, because the thing is, think about it. If we hadn't watched all these movies and an invasion or whatever, or the Nephilim just came up, worldwide panic, the elites wouldn't be able to control nothing or nobody.
Yeah, they have to slowly get us used to the idea of beings that are not humans,
They're cool.
That we can communicate
like the
with
superheroes look cool, you know what I mean?
Says that there's going to be these beings that are appearing and coming out of caves and water. Where's that written? Like, where's the relevance? Like, I don't understand. Where are these beings coming from, and what do they have to do with now? Why are they coming out now?
Well, as the days of Noah. I mean, there's plenty of word that there's, especially in these Book of Remembrance, there's plenty of word that talk about how the Nephilim will come back. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, again, like, I think this could be real or it could be fake. But if it is fake, I believe it's a conditioning thing of us getting used to, because here's the thing, right? Like, you gotta think, like, they make movies, so many movies, superhero movies, these beings coming down to help us and teach us and blah blah. What was that movie? The Originals. What's it called? The Originals.
The Vampires. No,
it's a Marvel movie. It's
the Eternals.
Eternals, the Eternals. And all these other Marvel and Avengers and movies and stuff, right? I mean, when they really let this stuff loose, I believe it's going to be a thing where, like, there are saviors. or
People
they're
start
here to
worshiping
help
them.
us.
Yeah, people
Or they're
worship
gonna help us.
reptilians.
Yeah, man, I believe it's gonna be like we see so much Satanism and crazy imagery coming out. Like,
holograms are coming out too.
I mean, you know, so they're really just warming us up so we accept this stuff. I don't think they want just panic up front.
Right.
I mean, chaos is gonna really come for real, but I believe they want enough control and order established in the background. So what is that? Freemasons believe order out of chaos.
But they don't have control over these beings. They're part of creation. So
they have contracts with them. That's what it is. There's agreements.
Nobody wanted that thing to land in somebody's yard and be seen. It was a total accident, I'm thinking.
Pete, come on. All right, so peep this. In the book of Matthew, the Messiah talked about, I know where Satan's seat dwells, even where my faithful martyr Antipas was killed. So Messiah was talking about Satan's seat, right, is where his faithful martyr Antipas was killed. I'll put this on screen. When you look up where was Antipas killed, Geneva, Switzerland.
Guess what
Where does CERN?
CERN,
Yeah.
Geneva, Switzerland. Oh, so are they trying to open a port? Like,
it's also a neutral country.
We got Aleister Crowley, 33rd degree Mason. He was the one to first do this ritual, this portal, and this demon who we call Lamb stepped through, and he drew the picture of the alien. Today they call them angels, demons. Tomorrow
He
they call them
successfully
something else.
pulled something out of his portal.
Yes. He drew a picture of it,
And
and today
Europe,
we
too.
call them Greys. This was hundreds of years ago.
Grays?
Huh?
Yeah, the Greys. That's like the alien.
You know, with the big eyes.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
He
The
drew that
big
picture
head
before we did this animating thing over a century ago. So it's like, we have people in contract. You can make contracts with demonic forces. You can do
That's
that.
what happened in the days of Noah. That's how they learned about warfare, metallurgy, and makeup, and all the different things about nature.
Mm-hmm.
They traded. They got in a contract with these fallen angels to get this wisdom, this knowledge, and also these worldly things. I know that's what's going on now, because I just think about how they're slowly putting things out, like even the Pentagon releasing files. Of course,
which is surrounded by a pentagon, right? The whole, pentagram, the street of the Pentagon. Yeah, look at your map. Go look at the Pentagon and see the street.
It's insane.
So then I'm kind of thinking the elites, they are still humans. So it's almost, maybe not, but I feel like they still are humans. They just have more power than the average human. So they can't control these things. It's just more so like they must prepare for them. They just unfold, and they need to I
think that's a different conversation.
They have to plan. I don't think they're the ones pulling these things out of portals. I think that they just all of a sudden they're coming out.
They're still puppets,
and people are seeing them. By them coming out, I'm saying these beings are starting to come out of their caves in the water and stuff, and they're being seen. But the elites are like, okay, well now we need to do something so that we can divert people's attention away from this. I don't think they're making them come out. I think they just can't control them.
Who knows, right? But what they also know is they've done enough mental conditioning for us to where we're gonna even if they come out in whatever cognitive dissonance, cognitive dissonance. Everybody cognitive dissonances, I'm put it like this: even the elites are puppets. They're puppets for the demonic forces. If we want to talk about they serpent people or humans, that's another conversation. I'll get real deep into the Rh negative bloodline. Another day, which of course you can still be saved if you're Rh negative. Let me just throw it out there. Nimrod was what you call a master Muhan, which is where the term Mason comes from. Basically, it's like saying master builder or master Muhan. But it was a person who was excellent in sorcery and the spirits of darkness, right? And before him was Lamech, who was a descendant of Cain. The first master Muhan actually created the first weapon in humanity. I want to say the 8th or 7th from Cain, somewhere around that ballpark. He was the first master Muhan. This is the origin where Mason comes from. So it's like, yo, like, yeah, we can. You can't control spirits, but you can make contracts. Like me, I've been physically demon possessed before. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like not have control of your body. It feels good in the moment because you feel like you got power, but it ain't fun because you literally, it's not even you reacting. It's this demonic entity and you're reacting. And now you're just out of control, foaming out the mouth, eyes shaking, body shaking, angry, fighting, all this. But other people, it's some higher stuff where they really just, they playing and stuff,
I watched a movie that was, it ended up being about reptilian people and shapeshifters, but it wasn't obvious at the beginning of the movie. It was basically like a couple went into a leasing office to find a townhome, and
find this movie and send it to me, please.
Yes, I will. When the person
after the podcast
comes into immediately, okay.
Don't forget.
When the person says, "Let me drive you to tour the house," so when they drive them there, they get stuck and they don't know how. So it's as if they took them into another realm, and they're making them just like in this endless cycle of day go by, and they can't leave. And so finally, when they go to like try and fight this person, she like hits him over the head, and he like goes on all fours, hisses at her, and then runs underground on all fours. Like, and all of a sudden, the person that they thought was like somehow this person who was doing this to them ends up being a shape-shifting reptilian. Yeah. So it kind of shows like what's going on underground, and they have more realms underground where they're doing this to other people that are stuck in these little time loops that look like humans and all this stuff. So it did make me think like maybe some of these things that are falling into people's yards and stuff like that, maybe some of them are shape-shifting abilities.
You got a lot of stories in Arizona and Nevada. A lot of in-person stories. There's a show on Netflix, Inside Job. It's a cartoon based around all conspiracy theories and the shadow government. The president is a robot. And reptilian. All the celebrities are reptilians.
It's called what?
It's called Inside Job.
I have to watch that.
It's a cartoon. Oh, yeah. It's so in your face.
Oh, wow. Watching Inside.
And they had the third episode. Third is literally about how all celebrities and Hollywood stars and basically of these bloodlines. Yeah. You have the movie. It's an old movie. They Live. It's about this white guy who finds out this church is broadcasting things over the news, like, they're controlling us. And he finds his glasses, and when he puts on the glasses, all the books and the magazines and signs turn into control, distraction. Oh, and then when he sees certain people, they're aliens. And when he takes them off, they're people. When he puts them on, add that one. They Live.
They Live.
And then hold up, you got another.
This is too far out for that.
This is like some normal person. Black Mirror type stuff.
I'm telling you, they're just putting it out. They don't care no more because they know. Look, I just watched a movie yesterday called Night Teeth on Netflix. Vampires are these people who drink people's blood, and there's contracts that they have, and to not go into certain territories and to kill on certain. It's like, and there's so much Israelite. Like, they're using a Dominican black guy in there, and he fought, and these white, and Megan Fox is in the movie. Oh, she's one of the blood sucking people. Of course. Megan Fox, MGK talking about they drink each other's blood. Yeah. The moment I saw Megan Fox in the credits in the beginning, I'm like,
this is gonna be.
Y'all are just doing this so in the face, and people are just gonna look at it as entertainment.
I just don't want none of those to fall into my yard because I don't know. I don't even know if I would go for it to call the police. I literally would go straight into prayer. I'm not even calling the police.
Don't let your dog run after it either.
Yeah, if it eats my whole dog and someone's like, "What happened to your dog?" Something ate my dog whole.
Yeah, that would be insane. Yeah, I would just go straight into prayer.
Yeah, that's all.
Man, look, I used to watch so many alien documentaries.
I used to study it a lot. Honestly, I really like learning about the Men in Black. I really like learning about
there's realness to that.
Men in Black, the way that they go into this other.
Yeah, I heard this call,
reality.
Quote unquote, where this dude was talking about being a part of it and how 75% of them aren't even human.
Yeah.
In that particular division.
That's basically what they're saying, and like they're basically aliens visiting to make like get an account of what you actually saw, and then kind of like the movie was probably like a little exercise that they're humans, but like zapping your memory and yeah, like they didn't like, at least from the book that I read and what I remember, because I lost the book and it had like basically all the humanoids, the monsters, like the Loch Ness monster, like the Mothman and stuff like that. I used to really be into this in high school and stuff, but yeah, they were just saying like it would be like they would have like, you could see like blue veins on them, like of course they were like paler, but it was just interesting. But aliens, I mean, they might be aliens, but
no, demons.
Demons.
Look, every single culture, civilization in the world shows a serpent race. The Bible talks about the serpent seed. Messiah was calling them serpents and vipers. Yeah. Even the Israelites was talking about it.
Serpent, dragon,
right,
dinosaur.
So it's like, where are they now? This is another episode.
Where
are they now?
Where are they now?
Yeah.
Well, Elijah, would you like to give us some financial news?
Oh, yes, okay. First off, we're going to start about, I'll just lay the foundation, kind of. The foundation is on Christ, obviously. But for the financial news and current events this week, cyber attacks were running rampant from some Russian crime organization where they hit some federal government agencies. They hit some institutions even here in Georgia and some energy agencies. They're after the power grid, dadgummit. But how does this tie into financial news, and why do I have to say that? Well, FedNow is going live July 1st. FedNow is basically the implementation of blockchain technology, of cryptocurrency into the banking system. As you may know, basically like right now, like let's say you wanted to pay your bill for Georgia Power or whatever. Your bank, say you bank with Chase, you send that money to Chase, and then Chase sends it over to the bank that Georgia Power banks with. That takes a long time, like 1 to 2 weeks. With this new blockchain technology, it's going to happen a lot quicker. Basically going still from you over to the people that you're paying their institution. But that's going live July 1st. And it correlates right with these cyber attacks because as you think about it, out of what was that saying with the Masons? Out of
order out of chaos.
Order out of chaos, and
that's actually on our dollar bill as well, I think somewhere. But yeah, go ahead.
But like it's I think we're gonna start to see a lot more chaos, especially in regards to energy and also the United States dollar, as they are starting to introduce the central bank digital currency, which the first phase of it is FedNow, because it has to happen high level first. With the banks and the financial institutions and those that are moving money. So mark your calendars for July 1st because that's when it goes live. And everyone basically has to be on FedNow. All the financial institutions and the banks have to be onto this new server, so to say, by 2025. And I think we put two-factor authentication with these cyber attacks because now with the cyber attacks, companies, institutions, like they're going to be heightening up their security. Two-factor authentication right now is not too bad, in my opinion. Like it's not bad. It's like, you got to maybe tell me what a code is from your email. But I think that they're going to, and maybe this is going too far deep into the future, but frick it. They are going to get to a place where two-factor authentication has to use some of your biomedical information to get into your account. And I think eventually it's going to lead way for the MOB. And we're seeing these cyber attacks. It's just out of order, comes chaos or whatever, but it's just like slowly they have to bring our defenses down and get us to a point to where, you need to have your fingerprint to access your bank account. And I really believe probably by next year, they're going to just stop printing cash. And they're going to also start limiting the amount of cash you're going to draw from the ATM. They're already starting to do it in Nigeria.
About it,
yeah, they're already doing it in other places where central bank digital currencies are big. So,
well, some of the countries in Africa are rejecting this stuff, but
no, literally. And I was looking at the map, like it's basically an implementation map of central bank digital currencies. Most of Africa is like actually white, as in they have not started looking at central bank digital currency. I'm like, oh, freedom.
But it would, contrary on the West Coast, though, where the highest density of Israelites in the world is.
They've already implemented the Naira, which is Nigeria's central bank digital currency. So,
And so I haven't heard any talk about this debt ceiling. What did they decide?
To extend it,
yeah,
as usual.
I think they came to an agreement on it. It's not as much as it was proposed, like to extend it as much. I don't know how much it was probably, but I was just looking at the debt clock. We're at like almost to 32 trillion.
You know what?
And our DTI is like 120%. Our federal debt to GDP is like 120%. That means for every 1% of GDP growth, we got 120%
of debt growth.
So
oh my gosh.
So I bet when we get to 33 trillion is when they
boom!
won. Is when they won.
Yeah.
They're gonna wait till they get to that nice rounded Masonic number.
I was
33.
actually thinking about that.
You just perverting the death age of the Messiah. Wait until we hit 33. You heard it here first. Mashack, Brandon Mashack says when we hit 33 million in debt, that's when they're gonna let something really pop off.
Oh yeah.
Inflation is real. It's no joke. I was literally just shopping for chicken sausage. Chicken sausage, and it was like $8 or $9 a pack for chicken sausage, and I just was so confused. I was just so perplexed. I'm like,
Yeah.
Or like even just like turkey bacon has gone up, but then pork bacon is like half the price of turkey bacon.
Yeah.
No, but because people
they want you on that stuff,
Well, I would be
look
hungry.
Look at that family.
I would rather be
the
hungry.
Cargill family. Like look them up. Like they have a serious monopoly, and it's just they basically control so much of the food that's here in the United States, which is really unhealthy stuff. But Lord have mercy.
Look, pray over your food hard. I do. I know I definitely do. I actually bought me a fluoride water pitcher filter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah,
It's like better than
the
Brita.
water is so different. Yeah. I feel like I hope my pineal gland opens up a little more for the next couple of weeks.
I still been using that special toothpaste.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's not hitting.
No.
Is it Tom's?
It's doing something.
Yeah, it's Tom's, yeah.
You become
Yeah,
Eliyahu since you started using the toothpaste.
You're right. Just coming into it, coming into the truth.
Yeah. Be careful what you use in your hair too, because your hair connects directly to your brain, your pineal too.
I believe that. I have to argue all the time about not using certain products and sunscreen, and I don't believe in sunscreen. I use
Especially
oil for everything.
Black folk. There's
Mostly
melanin in
oil
sunscreen.
in my hair. Yeah. I do need gel sometimes to like lay my edges down. I'm not going to be out here just.
I don't think black people need to wear sunscreen.
I don't either.
I don't believe that.
But I have a
sunscreen.
friend. Me and her, we argue every single summer the same because we all arrive at the pool. I put my oil on. She puts on literally a ton of sunscreen. She hides from the sun the whole time we're at the pool. I sit there and soak it in, and we just argue back and forth. No, she's light.
Oh,
sunscreen.
She's black.
Sunscreen
she's black,
is
yeah.
Okay.
If you look at sunscreen under UV light, it's actually blackface.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a video I share often, but it's they're showing people put sunscreen on, and it's literally blackface they put it on. And when black people put it on, you can barely see it. But white people put it on. So yeah, all Europeans have wore blackface. Y'all just don't know it yet. But it's okay. We still love you because it was done ignorantly.
Yes, that's crazy.
But
it doesn't surprise me. But yeah, I had a black person tell me they were like, "What do you mean you've never worn sunscreen?" I'm like, "I'm black. Like I'm about to burn. Like I was. I got milk.
Then they'll say,
melanin.
sun cancer or skin cancer or whatever." I don't think. I think skin cancer comes from getting in those crazy tanning beds and letting those rays penetrate your skin. That causes skin cancer. But to just soak up the sun, I've been an athlete my whole life, like doing running track. Like I've spent my whole life in the sun. I'm not gonna change now.
You know what's funny? The highest rate of skin cancer in the world is in Israel, in the Middle East.
Because they're not supposed to be over there.
I know exactly.
They over somewhere they're not supposed to be at.
Yeah, exactly. You're not supposed to be in that.
Yeah, I'm sure it ain't the Palestinians either.
Yeah, I know.
Yo, if there's melanin in sunscreen so they can repel the sun, think of where they probably get it from.
They have to extract it.
From where?
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's a dark. That was a dark tunnel, man.
Yeah, it can go into a really dark tone, and that's I wouldn't.
How do we really get sunscreen?
You know, I'll just say this
for the reptilians.
I'll just say this in regards to our precept into the Hebrew word. You know, God yearns jealously over the soul that He made, and I think that's why like that the sacrifice made to Moloch is so it hurts the Most High so much, and it's like abortion is just terrible.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
Yes,
We'll get into that topic at some
curse.
point.
It's generational curses conversation.
Yeah, yeah,
man. You know, also what it does to your body too. You know, messes you up and your mental.
Yeah.
Are y'all prepared to talk about that as men?
Come on.
I'm just saying, you could get some flack for saying absolutely anything about that topic as a man.
What's up, bro? Who wants to say something? I thought so.
Okay.
Look at that comment section exploding.
Don't talk about that.
You know,
Cancel me.
I'll probably be on. I'll have to pray on it before we talk about that.
Yes,
for sure.
we all will.
Hey man, who y'all gonna cancel? Not me. Come on, man. What's up? I'll talk about anything.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
You know what? Matter of fact, let's have a bottle of wine here today so my mouth gets extra loose. How about that?
Lord help us.
Let me stop.
But y'all, it's been real.
Yes, it
anything
has.
Else?
Good combo today.
Closing thoughts. Anything before we wrap it up?
May the Most High have mercy on your nefesh.
Yes.
Nah.
Turn from your wicked ways.
Yeah.
Pray and seek the Most High. Repent. But it's been real. Episode 9 in the books. Hope y'all learned something. I know I learned something.
I did too.
And it's really just a blessing to be around with y'all and doing the Kingdom OutKasts Podcast.
Yes, much love. I had a lot of fun today.
Me too. So until next episode, y'all stay blessed.
Shalom.
Shalom. Be easy.